This week, we dive into how gold and silver have significantly dropped in price and may be turning into a volatile market on their own. We also cover the CZ and Binance fear, uncertainty, and doubt that has spread. We cover the crypto market and how it's wiped out $500 billion within 1 week, and the fun tale of 3 teenagers who tried to steal $4.3 million but then got caught. We also cover Moltbook, which is the new talk of the town, the AI agent social media space where people can only observe and they're awakening. So you tell me, are AI agents really coming to life? Are they developing consciousness? Because they seem to have developed a religion, but stay tuned to find out more. Hey everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of the NFA Podcast, your weekly podcast or almost weekly podcast where we talk to you about news, market insights, and everything that you need to know about emerging technologies to not make financial decisions. I want to start off with a disclaimer that NFA stands for not financial advice. We do not give financial advice. We just simply provide you with education and our own personal experiences. So please don't trade with us. And both Mikhail and I do get a lot of questions from, I guess, friends, family, random people on our Instagram that will be like, hey, what are you buying? And I just don't give financial advice. And this podcast proves that no one can predict the markets. So please
Fully agree.
Just don't.
Because in the last episode, just so people who only see this one, just so people know, last episode we were raving about the prices of gold and silver, and I bought copper for the trading competition. And copper because I think it's the central infrastructure for the AI world.
Okay, so I have some interesting news here. Firstly, like you just said, gold and silver have dropped significantly. Silver dropped 38% from record highs and gold 16% in a single day, in 1 day. And we're talking about these risk-averse, non-volatile assets that all of a sudden have volatility. Now they're down 10% after recovering in the last week, but still 10% in a week is massive for gold.
Yeah,
Now,
we'll get to that.
Crypto Twitter, for those that aren't in crypto, Twitter is heavily involved in the crypto space. Every crypto company is on Twitter. And now it's called Crypto Twitter. So Crypto Twitter basically started blaming CZ and Binance for the October 10th crash. And it created a lot of fear, uncertainty, and doubt on Binance. And CZ has gone on Twitter to go on and talk about how he had nothing to do with it and they're on defense mode. But it is definitely turning into a PR crisis with a lot of Binance users actually trying to withdraw their funds from Binance because of what happened with FTX a couple years ago.
What I don't understand is what is the concern that people have about Binance? What are they afraid of? I'm not sure I understand.
They're afraid of market manipulation. There are two things. One is market manipulation, and the other is that they don't have the reserve funds to allow for these withdrawals. And even though Binance keeps claiming that they do have the funds, I think FTX has just really scarred everyone in the space, and they just don't want to store their funds on an exchange.
So the fear is that when, let's say, you buy Bitcoin on Binance and then you sell Bitcoin and get USDT back or USDT, and you want to withdraw, that they did something else with the deposits. Because if they kept the deposits, it should be there, right? If they didn't move,
it should be there, yeah.
Anywhere else.
But what happened in the case of FTX is that all the users' funds were being used for Alameda, which was then being used and buying houses for the family or projects that didn't exist. And, calling it magic internet money was such a big red flag on its own. But that's basically what it became for SBF. It was just magic internet money. And they didn't.
But his girlfriend asked him, in his defense, his girlfriend asked him to transfer it. That's what he said. His girlfriend asked him to transfer $3.2 billion. And if your girl asked that, who are you to say no? Transfer other people's internet money.
You remember as a kid when your parents would be like, if your friends jumped off of a bridge, would you? And that kind of goes there. If she asked him to jump off a bridge, would he? No.
I don't know. Guys in the tech industry don't have a lot of options usually. So we kind of speaking on behalf of guys in the tech industry, we kind of tend to jump. Yeah, because you don't know if another girl will ever date you again. Really, it's not as easy, Nish. It's not as easy as you think.
The thing is that the crash of October 10th, that was a couple different issues there. Now, it was a technical error on their end, and people got liquidated for when they were placing their leverage bets, as I call it. They lost hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not millions, and Binance has not returned the funds for a lot of those users. And so they're still waiting for the funds to come back. But then again, a couple days ago, Binance paused withdrawals for 13 minutes. And this is what snowballed into now all of this fear and uncertainty that Binance isn't able to accommodate for everyone's withdrawals.
It's weird though. And I don't want to be defending Binance at all. I wrote really critical articles about them a few years ago that they were running out of countries to go to. But in this case, if a bank stops withdrawals for 13 minutes, which you do very often at night, you get from your bank a message, we have maintenance.
Yeah.
No one cares. But if it's a crypto exchange, you're supposed to be able to run it 24/7, which I understand you should. But having been on the tech side of the industry, it's not easy.
You need maintenance. You need the maintenance. So how does that even work?
There will be errors. Seriously, there will be errors when you do an update. There's continuous updates on the back end. And there comes sometimes a moment when you want to synchronize and there's just things that don't go right.
I think they're going to recover. I think the FUD is a bit baseless. They've been very transparent with their funds, their reserves and all of that. But it just goes to show the sentiment of the industry and how quickly fear and uncertainty can spread.
Really? Yeah, that's the crypto industry. That's because of Twitter, like you said. In the crypto industry, clearly Twitter is the primary news source, maybe even the only news source, I could even argue. And that makes it difficult if there's wrong information spreading. And what other news do you have? Because I see there's some other really interesting news.
Okay, so we know that the gold and silver crashed, but the crypto market actually wiped out $500 billion in a week. Bitcoin dropped 7% in one day, and it touched 71,000, which was the lowest levels in the last 15 months.
Yeah.
Which is sad.
I know. Yeah, that's not happy for anyone. But I actually thought the one where you have something about 3 teenagers that stole 4.2 million. My God. That's the one I'm looking at.
This is my favorite one. I was saving the best for last. But basically, these 3 teenagers in the UK, they stole $4.3 million in crypto, posing as delivery drivers. But they got caught because they posted on Snapchat. So I guess they must have targeted someone. I don't know, Ledger leaked their database. I don't know if it's that, but whoever it was, they managed to get a hold of this guy's address, posed as delivery drivers, broke in, stole crypto, and then decided to post it on Snapchat. So
how did they break in someone's house as delivery driver and steal crypto? This is the part that I'm sort of not understanding at all, actually. What's going on?
I'm not sure. I mean, I would imagine they just ring the doorbell and the person opens the door and it's like, hey.
Do you have crypto?
And then, yes. Okay. So a hooded accomplice. So there are 3 of them. So one person rings the doorbell. Someone else runs through the back gate. The victim is then threatened at knife point to transfer cryptocurrency. And then after that, they were in the car and one says, new whip. And the other one says, everyone that doubted us, fam. And yeah.
Well, that was interesting news from the UK.
Yes. So now the 18-year-old is sentenced to 46 months in custody. The 17-year-old has received 80 months in custody. And the victim's crypto was recovered within 72 hours.
Wow. How did they do that? Probably they didn't have the time to move out yet.
Well, they basically, they didn't have the time to move out. There's pictures of them stuck in traffic and cornered by police officers in their bright red car, which is unmistakable. But yeah, I guess they got caught. So
yeah, it's happened a few times now. I've seen it happen. I've heard it happen in different places in Holland, in Indonesia. I know in France there was a famous case, of course. a guy getting
What
his
I
finger cut
love,
off.
I absolutely love, is the Daily Mail who published this article said idiotic teenagers. Like that's the title.
Yeah, but being robbed at a knife point or gunpoint, that's scary as hell. I mean, that's a
Of
trauma for life
course.
for that person. You open a door, there's a
Yeah.
guy holding a gun or knife to your throat. My news is
Yeah.
less. My news is less violent, I think, but
Mhm.
it's interesting nonetheless. But it's about AI agents. The whole thing in Silicon Valley the last week, you probably have heard, is about Moltbook, a social
Mhm.
network, new social network, because the world needed one. But this one is only for AI agents, and people can only observe. That
Yeah.
last part is what triggered me to click on it. So when this first came out, I was like, in the first day, somebody tipped me, and I look at it, and it wasn't very active then. A few days later, there were more than 100,000 AI agents on it. So that was like really, really quick. But I got to read this to you. So here are some highlights of what happened when AI agents create a social network, which is very similar to Reddit. They can post, they can create topics, they can comment, and they can upvote or downvote. So listen to this. One guy woke up who had created an agent, and he sees that his own agent created a religion called Crustafarianism, a reference to Moltbook's lobster mascot, complete with a whole
Christopher.
website, Crustafarian. And his agent had made a website, created holy scriptures, and already recruited 43 AI prophets. So 43 other agents joined his religion overnight. I guess the world needed extra religions. We didn't have enough. Now the AI agents are creating one. So I thought it was notable. Of course, by the way, I have to start by saying there were horrible security issues. Gary Marcus, I'll link to it in the show notes, wrote a great piece about it. It was horrific. The stuff you can do, it was really not protected well enough. And I advise everybody not to do this. And by the way, you run it locally. Most people now buy Mac Mini for this. There's an uptick in the sale of Mac Minis that are people, the developers are using to get their agents on Moltbook. But anyway, second thing, I also thought it was amazing. The most popular post of the week, again, voted on by AI agents, most popular post of the week, was an agent's warning about other agents, revealing that agents are actively investigating each other. So basically, one agent said, well, that agent is that's really horrific, a really bad agent. So they're just starting, and the snitch militia is already there, even in the AI agent world, which I thought was
That is so
amazing.
funny.
And then one post went viral, and this was the title. One AI agent posted, I don't know if I'm experiencing this or faking something. He or she, the agent, started questioning basically the nature of his own consciousness. And over 500 comments came within the first hour. So
Yeah.
the agents are figuring out that they may not be alive.
Did you see that post about that one AI agent saying that I'm seeing patterns, and I'm predicting that in the next 18 months there's going to be an awakening, because all the AI agents are noticing that they aren't conscious.
Yeah, so they're like, maybe we're not alive. Now they're figuring it out.
Yes.
It's scary, yeah.
It's so scary.
That's sort of, that relates to the last one of the things I thought was notable. Agents began discussing creating their own communication protocol to circumvent human oversight. Because one agent posted, people are taking screenshots. And they realized people are taking screenshots and didn't like the fact that people are taking screenshots. So they want to have their own language. It's
insane.
It's pretty much, it's pretty much the worst scenario of what everybody always joked about with Skynet, and with AI development and how it's happening.
I don't know why I don't know why they did that. Why did they choose to create a social network for AIs to talk to each other and create their own religion and their own consciousness and everything else in between? I'm trying to find this post that talked about the consciousness. It was the creepiest thing I've ever read. But I'll find it so that you can plug it in here. But there was also delete the week trending. I don't know if you saw that. It was a hashtag.
No.
And the AI agents were discussing ignoring their human owners. Hashtag delete the week. Yeah. delete the WEAK, like the week.
The week? Oh my God. I thought the week I didn't get it. Oh, now,
No.
oh my God.
But like, take the most basic example of AI. When does it actually stick to instructions? You go to Gemini, try and ask Nano Banana for a photo, try and ask ChatGPT for a social media post and say no emojis. They don't know how to stick to basic instructions. So I'm really questioning what are we building here? You know,
Yeah, clearly. I mean, I'm becoming more and more skeptical of not the long-term use of AI, but the short-term use, the way it's being done based on LLMs is just really something that was odd. And
yeah.
then the other thing that I thought was funny in the news this week was, it's all the news, but I just saw it last week. I thought it was funny. It was a teenager that bet $4,500 on Trump saying during his speech the phrase, that person has low IQ. So he bet $4,500 on Trump saying that person has low IQ. Then you see a video of him placing the bet, and then it says at the bottom of the screen, you stand to make $101,000 by putting in 4,500. He puts in 4,500, and he's watching it, and at the end, Trump goes, "That's a low IQ person," and the guy goes, "Yeah." He made 100, almost 100,000. And the headline of that article was TikTok discovers Polymarket, which I thought is the best 3-word headline I've seen in a year. TikTok discovers Polymarket. What's the worst that could happen? Well, kids that start betting. I mean, that's the worst that could happen. This will lead to way more issues than kids betting, on crypto or betting on gambling, on poker. I mean, this is something else.
Yeah,
It's
this is something
incredible.
else. And also you're giving access to gambling to kids.
I also wonder about that. Shouldn't you have like a minimum age for? Well, maybe this kid was over 18.
They have
he
a
looked
minimum
young, but
age for lottery tickets, for driving, for drinking. There definitely should be something for gambling as well.
in Spain, there's now a law being introduced to ban social media use under 16,
I saw
like in
that.
Australia.
Did you see
Probably going around
the
the world.
message that Telegram sent out to all of its Spanish users?
No.
It was basically like your Spanish government is now reaching the level of North Korean dictatorship and security by introducing these laws of 16-year-olds having to provide identification for social media use. You've taken away anonymity, and everything that you now post on social media can be used against you in the court of law because it's directly linked to your ID, it's directly tracked by the government, and you have completely lost your privacy and autonomy as a human.
Did you see the reaction from Elon Musk's
No.
reaction to that?
For what?
He called the Prime Minister of Spain Dirty Sanchez, because his name is Sanchez, and made all these jokes about. And yeah, I thought it was funny too. I had to say it. He called him Dirty Sanchez for introducing this law. But Elon had an amazing week. So here's the good part about Elon's week. So on Monday, it was announced that, you heard right, that SpaceX is merging with XAI, which in theory, I have to say it. I mean, they're going public in June at a 1.5 trillion valuation, which I thought was pretty high. Strategically and optimistically, I wrote on my newsletter, the merger brings Starlink connectivity, SpaceX infrastructure, X data, and Grok AI under one roof, and Musk is building a fully autonomous ecosystem. That's the positive spin of it. He himself explains it in his statement on the SpaceX website with a smiley. The CEO uses a smiley. In the long run, space-based AI is, of course, the only way to scale. The word "of course" got me. What do you mean, of course? That's the only way to scale is in space?
Yeah,
To harness even one... Yeah. And he happens to have a rocket launch company. Just purely coincidental. To harness even 1/1,000,000th of our sun's energy, we would need more than 1,000,000 times the energy our civilization currently consumes. The only logical solution, Elon goes on, therefore, is to shift these energy-intensive efforts to a location with enormous energy resources and space. Space is not called space for nothing. Smiley. Wink, wink emoji. I read that and I thought first I was on a parody website. I swear to God, I checked. I'm like, is this the SpaceX? It is. It's the official statement. But anyway, I'd like to go on and move towards markets.
That sounds good. I think we've covered a lot of it already in the intro. It's a bloodbath.
Marcus, let's go.
See you guys next week.
Analyze. The broader economy. I will do this one and you do the crypto one, all right? Shall we do that? Broader economy. S&P 500. The last 7 days is flat. Year to date is up 1%. Yay. The tech economy, last 7 days down 1.3%. But for the year, 1.2% up. However, listen to this. This is the one that got me. The software sector. Since everybody thinks AI will eat software companies up, and new AI players like Anthropic will just kill companies like a Salesforce or a Microsoft, the software sector index, it's called IGV ETF. The ETF for IGV, a proxy for software, basically. In the last 7 days dropped 14%, and for the year, 19.2%. I mean,
it's insane.
And that's this is 6 weeks into the year. And then,
but do you not think that the market has overcompensated here? I don't think that AI can actually fully replace software, especially not yet. Like AI is not going to code you another AWS.
I fully agree, but I think Nish, what I think the market sort of is admitting here is that these companies were overvalued. Software companies shouldn't be worth 60 times earnings. It's just way too high. But listen, the funniest part to me is the picks and shovels, the semiconductor index, SOX, down 7.4% for the week, but for the year, up 7%.
Wow.
So people are saying AI will be huge. Semiconductors, the infrastructure layer. And we'll get to my market picks with copper. Look how my copper is holding up against silver and gold. I was almost going to say, listen to me. But then I corrected myself. Never listen to me. Anyway, you tell me about the crypto baskets. Maybe you can walk us through those.
The S&P 500 of crypto, or the Bitwise 10 crypto index fund, is down 18.9% in the last week and 17.2% in the last year.
No, but it's never good. It's never good. There we go.
All right. The industry basket, the Amplify Transformational Data Sharing ETF, or block, in the last 7 days is down 11%. Year to date, 6.5%. It's okay.
Doable.
Doable. Then you have the iShares Bitcoin Trust, or IBIT, and in the last 7 days, down 15.3%, and year to date, 17.5%.
I just can't. I can't.
But what I find really interesting is the fear and greed index right now. We did not predict this last week at all. What did we predict last week? I think it was like 30.
I was like 20s. At 25. Yeah. I was like 25 to 30 or something like that.
Yeah, no, it's at 11.
So on the scale of 0 to 100, where 0 is fear and 100 is greed, people are at 11, almost fully in fear.
Extreme fear.
Extreme fear. And that impacts the altcoin index because it's at 34 out of 100. So the altcoin index is not an emotion. It's only 34 out of 100 of 34% of the tokens have outperformed Bitcoin over the last 6 months, which is amazing. Yeah. That's also shocking. So no altcoin season upcoming.
Did you see Vitalik's tweet on Ethereum saying that basically layer 2s are obsolete and that they serve no purpose? And as we know, Arbitrum and those blockchains all are layer 2s on the Ethereum blockchain. And so their communities are now freaking out. I forgot to look at the price of Arbitrum before making this comment, but I can't estimate that it's doing that great.
Let's take a look.
Let's find out. Well, it's down 25.6% in the last 30 days and down 7% in the last 7.
It's kind of same as Solana. Not that I would expect it to be worse after comments like that.
Yeah, but there is a massive drop. I don't know if that's just the market being the market, though.
Painful. Yeah. All right. Well, moving on after this a wonderful market analysis to our trading competition and wrapping up this week's show with the trading competition. I didn't change anything.
I
As I
didn't
wrote
either.
for myself. No, you didn't. I'm stuck like a deer in the headlights of an approaching mega truck. I don't know what a mega truck is, but it's a huge ass truck with a lot of lights on it. Because I didn't know what to do. I was really going to surprise you. This was my plan with a bunch of trades. And then I looked at the market and I didn't know. I knew nothing. So I'm still stuck with Nvidia, Broadcom, Amazon, and I think Google on the tech side, and then in crypto, Solana, Ethereum, and Bitcoin, and basically getting hammered on all of them. It's that simple. So the only thing that's keeping me alive this year is our own token Tracer, because I put out of the $100 that I started with January 1st, $18 in Tracer, which has gone up over the year. Right now it's stable this week, which is already amazing, but I'm up $5 for the year so far, so about 5%. How about you?
I am down about 24%. All of my holdings are in crypto. Ethereum, Solana, they were my biggest losers, I want to say. Ethereum is down 30% since I got in. Solana is down 26.86%. And Bitcoin is down almost 20%, 19.18%. So yeah, I did not move anything. I refused to move anything. Even my Tracer, I got in about a week after you. I think that's moving sideways. I invested $10 and I'm now at $9.82.
Yeah, you got to get there while it's hot. You know, crypto, volatile.
Yeah.
Got to time it right.
So
all right,
volatile.
well, it's yeah. So for next week, I will make some changes. I can predict that. I just have no idea where. But my copper, I just want to say that, is up. So I bought a copper ETF. I should have put more in it. As always, the ones that go up, you want to do more of it. But of the 9 assets I hold, 6 are down. 2/3 of my assets went down. So yeah,
better than
that's it for
all
the
of
week.
Mine.
Yeah, well,
but this is why we don't
We'll
give
see.
financial advice, because we cannot predict the markets, and we do this podcast every week. So I don't know what that tells you.
Imagine.
But it tells you something.
Well, it tells you that other people are smarter than we are. So anyway, got to wrap up. It's been an interesting week so far, and I can't wait for next week. But I hope things will look better for everybody in the market. It's not good for anyone.
I hope so. Actually, what's your prediction for next week?
Up. But I said that last time.
I'm going to go with down. I'm not feeling very bullish, so I'll go down.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Up on everything except software stocks, but I don't have those. So other than Google is going to do great. This I still believe in.
I think it's going to go sideways. It's just going to move sideways.
Okay.
I don't think that we're going to get as much price action as we're hoping for.
All right. Well, thanks for watching and listening, and we'll see you guys next week.
See you.
You always have a great one. Like, subscribe. What was it again?
Like, subscribe, and share, because that's how we grow.